Attention, please. Can I have your attention, please? What a great crowd. We would like to take this opportunity to thank you for coming today. This is an exciting day for both IALR and DCC. The governor has had a chance to go through the facility, and I'm sure that from what we understand, he likes what he sees. Gene Haas said that if I had shown him some signs before, he would have given us more money. So we're going to reapply. So there's a few people I think we have to recognize. We'll recognize our team later, but we have some special guests here today from certainly from our General Assembly. First of all, Senator Frank Ruff. Frank, I think, is still here. Okay, Delegate Danny Marshall, Delegate Les Adams, the ILR Board of Trustees. Would y'all please stand? The ones I think most of them are here, and the Foundation Board, please stand. Okay, thank y'all. They're so supportive of what we try to do here. Mayor Sherman Saunders, okay. Jesse Barksdale representing Pennsylvania County, Jesse, okay, and other elected officials. Thank you all for coming. We also have here, which I think is a real treat, we have 60 members of Lead Virginia here, and they certainly are going to be the future leaders of our state, and they go around the state learning about the government, learning about the issues in the state of Virginia and what have you. And they have been here with us this morning, and they will be traveling on to other parts of the state later. And we want to thank you all for being here. Thank you very much. To those people who are listening on, this is going out live on the webcast, as you know, and we have a large delegation, in which I'm not going to recognize everybody, but just thank you for coming from many states within the state of Virginia who want to see what is going on here, and they have come to watch us. And so we welcome you to the state, of course, and to the Danville regional area. You know, when the big beacon on the hill started, it was part of a dream of a lot of people, but there was one key individual who really took the bull by the horns, if you will, and moved things forward, and has a lot of responsibility for all the facilities that you see here today, and had a great dream for this area and what ILR and the operations that we do within the region could do, and that was Senator Charles Hawkins. And of course, fittingly, this particular building that the Haas Center is going to be in today is named the Charles R. Hawkins Building. So with that, one of our great guys, great senator doing his day, and still a great, great friend of ours, Senator Charles Hawkins. How was that,
brother? Please, thank you. I've also been reminded. Thank you. I've also been reminded many times that the name was put up with a screw so it can be taken down at most any opportunity, so I'm not too overwhelmed by that. This is where it all changes. Driving in today, I looked around and I happened to remember that one time this was a tobacco farm that produced a bright leaf that gave us prosperity, wealth, and a stable economy. And out of this field that existed, another building arose that gives us a new direction, a new point of view, a new economy, a new understanding. The first day the shovel went in the ground to break ground for this institute, our dream and hope was to create an economy that would meet the needs of the people of this area, that would provide the type of jobs, the type of income, the stability that only comes from the new technologies that exist today. That was the hope and that was the dream. But underlining all of that is to do something to allow our children to stay home and raise their families where they were born so they can understand where their roots are and who they are, rather than having to move away to find the prosperity that they look for. This will do that. This institution is put here to make advances and create new jobs and create new ways of thinking. We have made missteps. It has been a slow process, But we've always known where we were going. And this is where we are today. The future has not been written, but when it is, it will show that this building will house the innovations and technologies that will create those new jobs, that new wealth, that new prosperity that we all so desperately need. If we plan to grow and prosper, we have to look towards the future. But we are built on the histories of our past. The tobacco, the textiles, the furniture, it carried us through centuries. These technologies will take us forward. Not only this generation, but generations yet unborn. So, ladies and gentlemen, this day matters because this is where it changes. This is where it makes a difference. This is where we can look back and say, Danville is again rising and will be the economic engine of this Commonwealth the way it did at one time. Remember, at one time, this area was a leading producer of income for this Commonwealth in textiles, in tobacco, and furniture. Things we did better than anyone else in the world. And when it comes to technologies, we will do that as well. Mr. Haas, I'm so glad to see you here. You just do not know. Thank you, sir. And Governor, welcome. I hope you brought your checkbook.
I always do.
Good man. Thank you all.
Governor McAuliffe has been out in front from day one of his administration, helping Virginia to confront its toughest challenges and to develop the long-term plans necessary to respond to our evolving global economy and high-tech opportunities. He's identified key goals, including investment in infrastructure and diversifying our economy, and he's working hard to implement them to make sure future success is a reality for our region. He's attracting new businesses by building on Virginia's great assets and encouraging new ideas and innovations in the public and private sectors. It gives me a very special privilege and honor to introduce His Excellency, the 72nd Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Ain't that old?
And believe me, in the other meeting, he got me for calling him His Excellency, but that's proper. Governor, we're glad to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, everybody. What an honor to be back in Danville. It's so exciting to be here. Thank you. And Jerry, thank you for that great introduction. That is our second one today. We just finished a big bill signing to realign the Tobacco Commission to make it more transparent, make sure we're having a good return on our investment. And I'd like to recognize the new executive director. You should all get to know Evan Feinman, who is the new executive director of the Tobacco Commission. It's great to be here, IALR, and to all the folks in the Danville Community College and all the businesses who have made today possible. I also want to thank the lead class of 2015. Give them another great round of applause, our future leaders. This is a very important day for not only this region, but I can tell you for the Commonwealth of Virginia. What we are doing here today is going to build, as the senator said, for generations to come. I talk a lot in my mission, on my strategic economic plan, about building that workforce of the 21st century. It's absolutely critical. I get out of bed as governor every day competing against 49 other governors in 200 nations around the globe. We have to have the best workforce if we're going to recruit those businesses to our communities. Workforce development, advanced manufacturing are the two pillars of building that 21st century economy. Every conversation I have with a CEO, and I've traveled extensively around the globe. I was probably the most traveled governor last year internationally. I'm about to embark on 6 trade missions around the globe to bring business back to the Commonwealth. Every single CEO has the same question. If I move to your state, are you going to have a workforce for me for 10, 15, 20 years? As Gene knows, before you can move advanced manufacturing, you got to make sure you're going to have those employees with that skill set that matters to build it. And what we're doing here today truly helps us go leaps and bounds above anybody else. So I want to thank everybody for the great work that you've done to make today possible. Talent, folks, is the key. I know Southern Virginia has the talent to build the advanced products of the future of the 21st century, and the new Gene Haas Center for Integrated Machinery will provide the training to turn that talent into a highly skilled workforce that every CEO demands. As you know, Virginia faces a serious issue as it relates to workforce development. This is something I've talked about for the last 15 months. Here are some of the issues that we work to solve every single day. In less than a decade, Virginia will need to replace more than 930,000 retiring workers here in the Commonwealth. We will need to fill an additional 500,000 new jobs. So 1,450,000 is what we have to figure out. 50 to 65% of those opportunities will be specialized, technical, skilled jobs. These jobs are accessible with the right industry certifications, licenses, apprenticeships, credentials, or other type of certificate. So think about what I just said. We're going to have to fill 1,000,004 jobs. Most of those jobs will be less than a 4-year degree, but will have to have some type of certification or apprenticeship to go forward. That is the challenge that we face in the Commonwealth. Private sector employers are counting on Virginia's publicly funded workforce system, which today handles about 1 million folks annually, to play a significant role in making sure we are closing what we all refer to as the skills gap. Since my first day on the job, I've made it a top priority to deal with this workforce challenge issue. With my new Virginia Economy Workforce Initiative, as you know, I have set a goal. I want to see 50,000 new STEM-H credentials over the next 3 years before I leave office, and I have set a goal for Virginia that we will have nearly 500,000 employees in Virginia with business-demanded workforce credentials by no later than 2030. So we're reforming our entire education system to meet that goal. And when we meet that goal, Virginia will be the #1 state based on percentage of population with workforce credentials or credentials to compete. That is extraordinary. Right now, we're about 165,000. So we've got to go and pick up that remaining 335,000 over the course of the next 15 years. And I know that we can do it. During the legislative session that we just finished, we passed very significant workforce reforms sponsored by Senator Ruff and Delegate Byron that will increase accountability and streamline systems to make them better aligned with the needs of the employers. Our legislation that we passed establishes the workforce system's first pay for performance. So you will actually be rewarded here in the Danville region, the New River region, if you are meeting our workforce numbers. So everybody who is involved in that process, we are counting on you to do it. And when you do, we will make sure that we incentivize you for that. We've established common performance metrics that all 24 of our workforce programs in Virginia's system to make sure we're meeting those economic development goals. It is a scattered system before what we were able to accomplish this year through the legislature. In the budget, we secured funding for the state's first financial aid program for students in non-credit community college programs that are designed to help them obtain an industry-driven certificate. So that is great. First time for non-credit. This spring, my office will release an RFP for regional competitive grants to develop and expand workforce solutions as new sector strategies, career pathways, and entrepreneurships, as well as incumbent workforce training. Folks, I can tell you our efforts are already paying off. As you know, so far in my administration, in the first 15 months, we have had 383 jobs announcements. We have brought in $6.6 billion of capital, most of it from outside the shores of the United States of America. Not that anybody is counting, but that $6.7 billion is more than any governor in the history of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Not that I'm counting, but and I'm just getting warmed up, let me tell you that. We got a couple billion on the plate. We're trying to get them across that goal line, so hopefully on my upcoming trips we can get a couple more billion in here relatively quickly. Since we took office, we closed 134 economic development announcements just in the manufacturing sector, which represents more than 10,000 new manufacturing jobs and $3.6 billion in new capital. And I can tell you there's not too many governors today that can stand on a stage and make those types of announcements. You all saw the news that I released 2 days ago on Virginia's economy. We have been sluggish, as you know, since the Great Recession started back in 2008. We saw $9.8 billion of defense cuts to Virginia, most of that in Northern Virginia. But we have been hit with the Great Recession. We have been hit with the defense cuts. And so they have really thrown a lot at Virginia. But I'm happy to announce, as I did the other day, that finally our economy is back. Our economy is roaring. I announced numbers that very few states could have announced the other day. On our year-to-date numbers, our general fund collections are up 7.5%. Our payroll withholding, which is about 63% of our budget, is up 4.7%. Our non-withholding, which is a very important indicator, that is businesses buying, selling, capital gains, up 19.8%. The size of our checks, up 19%. Those are truly extraordinary numbers, and our recordation and sales are up off the charts. So, folks, our economy is back. We're doing great. I will caution everybody that October 1st is sequestration. We've lost $9.8 billion in 10, 11, and 12 if sequestration goes into effect. And remember, this was so bad that Congress said, oh, no, we'll never vote for it. Well, they voted for it. It happens automatically. Congress has to vote to stop it. And what we saw with the $9.8 billion is just a mere shallow about what would hit Virginia, because of obviously we are the #1 recipient of Department of Defense dollars. So that's why, Gene, what you're doing here today is so important, diversifying the economy, making us less reliant on the federal government, and building that new 21st century economy. We have a long way to go, but the announcement we have here today is truly extraordinary. And because of Gene Haas, he is getting us down that road a lot faster. And I see you got a sports car out here too, Gene, which I hope after this is over we can take a little spin. You know, as governor, it's great. You get to kick off the great races that we have, the Sprint Cup races. I get in that little sports car and get to rip around. It's the only time I get to do it. The Gene Haas Center for Integrated Machinery is exactly the type of innovative partnership between IALR and the Danville Community College and the private industry that Virginia and Southern Virginia need to train our workers for advanced manufacturing. The Gene Haas Center will include a workflow cell training lab, which we just toured in there, which is truly extraordinary. I actually got a little gift they gave me that was made in about, 15 seconds. Said I could use it as a paperweight. And yes, it's under $100, so I can take it. I just want you to know. But right, Gene? Yeah. But what we are doing here truly is unique to build that workforce. The Capstone program will provide a third-year level of learning for our students. Students will now use state-of-the-art technology and equipment in the flow cell that will integrate machinery, lean manufacturing, visual management, and manufacturing economics. This experience will enable students to earn valuable, nationally recognized industry credentials from such esteemed organizations as the National Institute for Metalworking Skills. In addition, the Gene Haas Center is an unmistakable sign to the market that Southern Virginia is a serious competitor in the highly skilled advanced manufacturing jobs and projects of the future. The Gene Haas Center for Integrated Machinery will stand alongside, as you know, which I just toured the other day, our shipbuilding industry apprenticeship program at the Newport News Shipbuilding, which, as you know, we were just awarded a contract. 9 new nuclear-based submarines will be under construction down there, which will be great for that part of the Commonwealth. Just a great win we just had to continue to have all those workers down there. And the Commonwealth Center for Advanced Manufacturing at Rolls-Royce, Virginia's plant. So let me just say, finally, I want to thank all the folks and supporters of this center. I want to thank the Haas Automation Group. I want to thank the Gene Haas Foundation. He actually said he has a check in his pocket here, so let me get down and let him get up with the check, because I like that. The Danville Regional Foundation, and the numerous private sector partners who have made this possible. But what we are doing today, I know, I'm excited, but as you all know, I always get excited. But truly, what you have done in here, I can now travel the globe. We can bring that advanced manufacturing to Virginia. And I can tell folks now that we will have that workforce for you 20, 30 years. People use the word game changer a lot, but what is inside that building is truly a game changer for Virginia. And I just want to thank all of you for the great work to make today possible. Thank you very much.
I'm going to say one thing. Because of my job, I have an opportunity to be around this gentleman quite a bit. He's not as vibrant today as he usually is. I don't know what's wrong. He is a great salesman, and he's always like that. Never in any other way. And he can really get you revved up. As we put this thing together, you know you get something all the way almost to its finish line, and then you need some help to take it over that finish line. As all of you know that live here in Danville, Pennsylvania County, we're fortunate to have the Danville Regional Foundation, which proceeds from the sale of the hospital. And they have been a big game changer in our region and have been a great partner to the revitalization of our community as we go forward, which is certainly their mission. And as they have partnered to come and take us over the hump, if you will. And they have been a very significant contributor to the Gene Haas program. And so I'd like to present to you Dr. Carl Starber, CEO and President of the Danville Regional Foundation. Carl?
Governor, honored guests, residents of the Dan River region, on behalf of the DRF Board of Directors, it's a wonderful pleasure to be here for today's event. As some of you have heard me say before, we have to create new competitive advantage every day as a region. This facility puts us in a whole different realm in terms of creating new competitive advantage. It also demonstrates the future that we must pursue, and that is a partnership rather than solo or siloed activities, doing things in partnership. And so Danville Community College, the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research, K through 12 education, the private for-profit sector, the nonprofit sector, all these pieces, if we are to continue to build competitive advantage, we have to work together in ways that are hard and challenging and sometimes very frustrating, but without that collaboration and cooperation, we won't get there. Now, what do we get out of this investment? And it is an investment. DRF's put $1.9 million into this. It's part of $4.3 million that we've committed in the last 12 months alone to advanced manufacturing, and $18.4 million we've put into STEM education in the last 10 years. And so it's part of a continuing pattern. But what we get out of this as a region, this center will produce the best, the brightest, and the most qualified employees ready to work for their future employees. This center will make companies in our region stronger by providing them even a higher quality workforce. It will attract companies that otherwise would have gone somewhere else to this region because of that very skilled workforce. And finally, it will help the people a percentage of the people that go through this program are going to want to start their own businesses. And they're going to want to start those businesses here in part because of the support system that this facility represents. DRF is proud to be an investor in this project. We're proud to be a partner. And like all of us in this room, we look forward to the results for years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carl. It's been a long road. It's probably been about a year and a half or more that we've been working to this, maybe a couple of years. But there was a gentleman named Gene Haas that we became to know, and his people, and have worked so closely with them. In 1999, the Gene Haas Foundation was founded. Growing up with a strong social conscience instilled by his family, Gene initially formed the foundation to fund the needs of the local community and other deserving charities. Mr. Haas is the owner of Haas Automation Incorporated, America's leading builder of CNC machine tools, which he started in 1983. Haas Automation is now a billion-dollar company, and its extraordinary growth has all come in an era when Americans were being told that the United States doesn't manufacture anything here anymore. Gene's commitment to the importance of U.S. manufacturing has incited him to grow his personal foundation and direct his foundation board to focus on manufacturing education, which awards grants for scholarships for students entering CNC machinist training. And I also, you see the race car back here. For those of you who don't know, he's very much involved in the racing. And Gene, I'm going to say one thing. If you remember, you had Dr. Sissom and I to the race in Richmond, which the governor was there, and you had us in the pit crews as the race went, and guess who won the race? Haas Racing, Kurt Busch. So I would assume that you're going to want us in the future in the pit crew.
He just kept telling us, stay out of the way.
But it was a thrill to go there and see that happen and to be a part of that and look down and watch the pit crews there and to take us through those operations and to meet his racers and what great people that they are and how much they are involved in stuff like this. Gene and his people. Bruce Barr, where's Bruce? Right here. I want you to stand. I'm going to recognize you again. This is the original guy on behalf of Haas Machining that got us involved in this particular process. He's been a team player all the way. You got a great representative there, I can tell you that. So it's with great pleasure that I now recognize our man of the hour, Gene Haas.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for such a warm welcome. I am just overwhelmed. Having the governor of Virginia and the retired senator of Virginia, this is truly an honor, truly an honor. The Gene Haas Foundation has been involved in manufacturing, for over 15 years now. And the mandate of the foundation is different than a lot of other foundations. A lot of other foundations, they try to help humanity with, through cancer or, helping poor people in other parts of the world. The Gene Haas Foundation, though, is really dedicated towards manufacturing. We want to spend money, invest money in places where we can help train people to have a profession in manufacturing. Sometimes that profession is a machinist who actually runs these machines. But more often than not, many of those people who become machinists actually move on in life to become engineers, manufacturing engineers. A lot of the people that buy our machines actually will become entrepreneurs, and they'll start their own businesses. The typical customer that we sell to is probably a owner-operator business, and he has less than 20 employees. But the beauty of it is that it's a very viable business model. It works very well in these type of communities where someone can live in his community and yet run a business and become a subcontractor, say like a Babcock, Wilcox, or a Goodyear. So the products that we manufacture fit very, very well into that, and it's a very, very viable form of manufacturing. And what we try to do is we try to train students obviously, to run our machines, because we know that once they learn how to run our machines, once they get out into the workforce, there's a high probability that they will use our machines and purchase our machines. So, we do have a vested interest in it. We've made obviously big investments in money and time, but those investments don't really compare to all the hard work that all the teachers and the dedicated people that run these community colleges put into these programs. It's easy to invest the money, but the real heroes here are the people that invest their time, the time to take students and move them up the ladder. To teach them, the basics. The basics are important too. Everything that they teach you in school, the mathematics, the learning how to articulate yourself. Those things are so vitally important. When it comes to manufacturing, you can't really be in manufacturing until you learn the basics. So there's a lot to be. We have to give a lot of credit to the fundamental teachers that teach people how to even get to this level. But once we get to that level, then we bring them to this next stage of teaching them. Well, what do you want to do? Not everybody wants to be in manufacturing. And I don't think we should push people into manufacturing that don't want to be there. But for that small percentage that want to be in manufacturing, it's a great profession. There's a huge demand for manufacturing in this country, and there's a lot of job openings. And most of the jobs are very high paying. Typical jobs are $30,000 to $100,000 a year. It's not uncommon for someone to be in as a machinist to make over $50,000 to $60,000 a year. Those are average salaries that you'll find throughout the United States. So these are very good paying jobs. They're very local jobs. They don't necessarily require that you have to move to a different part of the state or a different city. They can be done here. So I'm very impressed with Mr. Hawking's revitalization of Virginia. I really didn't know that you've gone through this tremendous economic turmoil. But I think going from an agricultural community to a manufacturing environment is really a quantum leap. But on an acre of land, you can get so much per crop. If you're growing corn, you might get a few dollars a bushel. But if you take that same piece of land and you start manufacturing things, now you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars per acre. So, manufacturing is definitely the future. There's a lot of things that need to be made. The United States, $16 trillion a year economy. And even though we see a lot of things come from overseas, there's a tremendous amount of things that are made here. Submarines, shipbuilding, aerospace. And all these things have to be made. A lot of these things have to be made here in the United States. So there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for manufacturing that has absolutely no foreign competition whatsoever. So I think this transition from tobacco to textiles into high-tech manufacturing is to be lauded. It's a very, very thoughtful insight into what the future is going to bring, and I think it's right on. It's a great vision that they have. And I can tell you when I go in other parts of the world and I travel a little bit here and there. Manufacturing is a very sought-after industry by other countries. Just as he said, even in the United States, every governor would love to have more manufacturing, high-paying jobs, good prospects, a good future, and it's going to be here for a long time. So that's why I'm very proud to be able to help here. And like I say, for every dollar I put into this, I think that there's probably $100 in the teachers and the administrators that put all their time into helping students. That's really where the people should get the praise, because they do so much of the work. We just provide the ability to do that. But congratulations to you, because I know that teaching kids is probably a very difficult profession to be in these days. But hopefully it'll be very rewarding for future generations. So once again, thank you. Thank you for all the dignitaries and very warm welcome here. Thank you.
Before I introduce our next guest, everybody has to have a quarterback and make this thing happen and go day to day to day to day and make things happen. We couldn't have any better guy that's taken this total community college precision machining program to where it is today. And of course, a great part of this, and they're going to be operating this, and has been a great godsend when it comes to someone who is passionate about precision machining. And he's our quarterback, and he's going to be taking things on. I'm going to ask him to stand, Troy Simpson. Troy. We're giving it to you, Troy. The pressure's on, buddy. One of the great things that's come out of this is the fact of the relationship that's been developed so that we collaborate and we don't go in different ways and we don't spend our money unwisely, is a relationship with Danville Community College. And as you know, we've had a new president for some time. The past president did a great job in this community of working with precision machining. But now Bruce has come on board, and I have felt that I have made not only a great friend, but a great colleague. And the ability that we have been able to, and he has been so receptive to sit down, to work in the direction of where we're trying to go. And Governor, if you remember when you came to make the first speech here, you and I were kind of alone in the back room, and you said two things. I'm going to do workforce development, and I'm going to do economic development, and I'm going to use the community college system. And I was so bold as to tell him he was on the right track. So we're trying to do what you told me we should do. So with that, Bruce, Dr. Bruce Sissom, thank you.
It is a great pleasure and honor to be here today. There's a lot of thanks to extend to everybody. Governor, I'd like to let you know that the Virginia Community College system is committed to helping you attain that goal that you speak of. Chancellor Glenn DuBois, one goal in our strategic plan moving forward is to triple the credentials produced by the Virginia Community College system. I'd like to just point out how that translates into then real world. What's happening? A year ago, there were no NIM certifications in this area. 1 year later, Danville Community College, under the leadership of Mr. Troy Simpson, produced over 1/3 of all the NIM certifications in the entire Commonwealth of Virginia here at DCC. 96 or 97, and we think next year we can double and maybe, I'm going to hedge my bet, no pressure, Troy, triple that number. This project demonstrates what can be accomplished when the community leaders and the elected officials and the industry partners and education work together for the common good of the state, the community, and its citizens. It's been a team effort, and that's why we're here today, that team effort in place. I'd like to thank the entire Haas Automation team for your confidence in our program by naming our school as a Haas H-Tech Training Center and for providing thousands of dollars to scholarship teacher training from across America, individuals who will be traveling to Danville, Virginia to be trained on the latest CNC technology. I would also like to thank Mid-Atoya for your investment in this program and the expertise you're providing that will provide our students with metrology training that is unprecedented in the United States. To that end, I would like to recognize Mr. Matt Dye, Vice President of Sales, Mid-Atoya, North America. Matt? There he is. When you make these sophisticated parts with the Haas equipment, you want to make sure that they are built to the specifications, and that's where Mid-Atoya comes in. There's many others to thank. To name just a few, I'd like to recognize Sandvik Coromant, Mitsubishi EDM, Danville Regional Foundation, business and industry leaders, and I'm looking at John Meade, I'm looking at William Gentry, I'm looking at our elected officials, Mr. Don Merricks, Mr. Senator Frank Ruff, Les Adams, Danny Marshall. I'd like to thank Mr. Tom Lohr and the others who have spent countless number of hours making this a reality. This truly is, I believe, a transformative event for Danville, Virginia, and the south side of the Commonwealth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bruce. To all of our partners, thank you for your trust in us and moving us forward. And if you go into the atrium, you'll see a big sign up there, a big nice, beautiful layout that recognizes all of our partners. Gene, one of the things that has happened here is some may know is that all of those equipment and everything will be replaced so it's always current. And that's through the benevolence of the Gene Haas Foundation, and we've worked through that process. But above and beyond that, one of the key things that Gene has done, he has committed or given to us a $1 million endowment to put away for the future of this program. So Gene, I'm going to ask you to come forward and give us the check. Gene, here's the Gene. It's over here.
Oh, okay, all right. Look at the wrong place. $1 million.
Good.
There we go. Thank you.
Where's our bankers? We'll give it to you right now. First of all, we would thank Lead Virginia. We want to thank Lead Virginia for being here. It's nice to have you here today, and I know that the governor was pleased to have you in the first session and in this one. Thank you all for being here. We were going to move over to the ribbon cutting, if you will, which will be right here, and I hope those of you that have a program, Governor, you will go first in the middle, and Gene, you will go in the middle. Okay. And then those of you who have the program, they will be over there. Just there's so many we can't go through the list here. Just go over there and line up, if you will, and we'll cut the ribbon. So if you two guys will get in.
There's a check for $200,000.
Yeah, that was the remainder.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Gene.
Very nice, Gary.
Huh?
Nice, sir.
I didn't go through the last part because you recognized him, so I didn't go through all of it. No.